I suggest to you that if you are facing a challenge, don't stop. Stay busy. Work your plan. Continue to do those things that you know that work for you after you have evaluated yourself in the situation. This is my day, and nothing out here is going to stop me. And you have the power to do that. You can decide that you're going to change.
Unbelievable start to this fight.
Give it to a good job.
Vicious right hand. And the referee has already stopped the fight. Mamma mia. Matisse. Oh, and fires off the right hand. Jose goes down. Mora has stopped the fight. Lucas Matisse has won. Oh, he knocks him down in the sweat with a beautiful right uppercut. Wow.
I'm in control here. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let this destroy me. I'm coming back.
We all know Fury, he just a phony, man. This is just for act. You know where I am, you know what time, you know what place. I ain't scared of nobody. I'll come in your backyard, baby, for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another show. And we talking about Mayweather McGregor. But in reference to that, and talking about this show, Late Night Boxing with Jeremy Sports Network, we are trying to figure out what is all this hoopla about Mayweather being knocked out by Zab Judah. And not only that, but we want to know about talks with Conor McGregor and Paulie Malignaggi may be happening next, right after Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. Now, earlier today, news surfaced that Zab Judah dropped Floyd Mayweather in training camp in the middle of a sparring session, and Floyd kicked everybody out the gym, and nobody has been back since then. Now, some people are saying that they have sources that were there and gave them the news. Some people reported that. And then you have some people who say that Zab Judah was not even there. Now, it is one person that I really take their credibility and what it is they report and what it is they say. And that's Dante's Boxing Nation. Because Dante's right there in Nevada. And he has a very close relationship with those who are in Mayweather gym. And people will tell him, you know, certain things that take place. And it will be true information. Nothing will be false. And so he reported today that Zab Judah's manager stated that Zab is not even in town. He's not even in camp with Mayweather. And since he's not in camp with Mayweather, how is this news surfacing? Why is it a hoax? Days before we get this big fight, that's pretty much saying Floyd was dropped. So what are they going to say next? That Floyd power does not correlate with a Conor McGregor? It's things like this that's in boxing that's really starting to piss me off. And not only that, because it gets worse. It gets worse. And the simple fact that this gets worse is now you have people saying that Paulie, even though Paulie did call out McGregor, but you have people saying that now this fight is bigger than Mayweather, right? Because all the news has been surfacing around Paulie Malignaggi. I mean, Paulie has been going in on Twitter, not only Twitter, but he's been on show after show, show after show, show after show, reporting about what took place between him and Conor. And that has put himself in position to make this fight bigger than him and Mayweather. And that's just being real. That's stating the facts, stating the obvious. And now more people are looking at the fact that, wow, even though Conor just pretty much put out this video of him and Paulie, what is it that they're going to get next? Right? Everybody's tuning in to see, is the whole video going to come out? More pictures, more footage, whatever it is that Conor may have on Paulie Malignaggi, is it going to come out? Is it going to surface? And if you think for a second that this is going to surface, then you're absolutely wrong. Not right now. Not at this time. It's not going to happen. Now, what is going to happen is, I would say probably right before the fight, we may get that 36 minutes of Paulie versus Conor going at it. We may get that. Or it may just happen right after the fight. But what's not going to happen is we're not going to see anything else in correlation to these two guys going at it. Now, there is one thing in particular that we're going to talk about, and that's the whole ticket sales in this fight. Now, if you're tuning in and you bought a ticket to go to this fight, drop it in the comments. I really want to know. And not only that, did you purchase the pay-per-view? If you purchased the pay-per-view, put it in the comments. I want to know. They're saying the reason why majority of the hoax and everything that is being said and what's coming out has to do with the fact that maybe Dana and his team is afraid that they may not make the numbers with this match. They may be under the number that they set for themselves. And they're saying they want it to be over 4.9 million pay-per-view buys. Is that going to happen? We don't know. Because now you have to think about it. When Floyd fought Oscar and set the record, it was social media, but social media wasn't to this extent. Social media was not as savvy as it is now with the Facebook Live and the live streams, videos, YouTube live streams, some Tiger streams, Cody boxes, Fire Sticks, all that kind of stuff wasn't existing to that magnitude that it is right now. And so when you think about what it is that's going on, how many people are actually going to purchase this pay-per-view? Yet alone, is the arena going to be sold out? Because to my knowledge, it's not. And not only to my knowledge, but to other people's knowledge as well. And so when you think about that and think about the necessary ways of them showing this fight, how many people are going to actually tune in? Even over in small bars and places like that, you have them telling people to charge these people $50 to come in. I know a Hooters that's close to my house right now that's charging every bit of $50 for Mayweather McGregor. $50. That's not even including your meal, drinks, whatever it is you get. You're just paying them $50 for the pay-per-view. So if people pay $50 to go and watch this fight at a Hooters instead of them paying the $100, that's still cutting out Mayweather McGregor's numbers because only one channel is hosting that pay-per-view. So that is considered still one pay-per-view buy. So it's a lot that they are afraid of when it comes to the numbers in this fight. Is everything solidified? I don't think so. Is everything in position to where Mayweather feel as though, hey, I'm not worried about it as long as I get my check, right? That just may be what happened. But right now, the talks that is going on is the fact that Floyd and Conor's teams are kind of nervous about the pay-per-view numbers. So now that's why you're getting all of the hoopla between Conor and Paulie and Floyd really taking a back seat to that. Because if you look at it, what is the bigger story? Conor McGregor versus Paulie Malignaggi and the footage that is out. That's the biggest thing right now, right? And if you're thinking that is something else and then there's something different, then you have to ask yourself, well, what is next? What is going to happen next now, given the fact that we have the undercard? We know the undercard is really not as good as people may think it is. So that's going to be one reason why people are not going to tune in and watch this fight. And then not only that, you're going to have people who are not going to tune in just because, for one, they're not going to want to pay the 100 because of what what Mayweather has done for them in the Manny Pacquiao fight. So it's certain things that's very close to people having a problem. And these are reports that are being put out there. I was tuning in today to one of my good friends, T Street Controversy. And T Street brought up a very good point, a really good point. He talked about how if this fight between Mayweather and McGregor, it puts McGregor in a position to where he could be very successful, right? When you talk about McGregor, even though he lose to Mayweather, he can still be in the boxing world and make another big payday if he was to face Paulie Malignaggi. Just think about that for a second. If Conor faces Paulie right after this, that makes that fight almost as big as Mayweather-McGregor. Paulie just set himself up for a money grab. Think about that. Paulie just set himself up for a money grab with McGregor. And to me, you can't hate that because Paulie just called out. He just called out your boy. And it makes it very interesting. Very interesting. But it's some things that you really want to talk about when it comes with Paulie. It's a simple fact that Paulie has to worry about 2 or 3 different things. And those things are, for one, I don't really have to sell this fight because the fight is already sold. 2, I don't have to worry about money being put behind in this fight because, once again, McGregor Promotions will be able to host this fight. And then 3, this could perhaps be probably the biggest payday of my career. If you're Paulie Malignaggi. And Paulie is a great fighter. Really good fighter. Done everything by the book. He's a really good guy. I mean, what more can you say about Paulie in a way that you could say about other fighters? Now, what's really interesting is my interview with Mr. Steve Forbes on today. And when I talk to him, that interview is going to be ready for you guys on tomorrow's show. But those of you who are joining me for the late night show right now today, those questions with him really brought a lot of things into detail for me personally. And I was able to understand why he turned down the fight with McGregor, or the sparring session with McGregor. I was able to find those things out. And it made a whole lot of sense. And those details that I'm going to give you, I'm going to wait till you check out the interview on tomorrow's show. But it's very interesting because it seems now Conor may be more desperate than anything because he's ran off everybody who was willing to help him. Andre Berto. And I believe Forbes would have went in and helped Conor if Conor was more on a respectable side of his opponents, of people that's in the boxing world who has already been there, who has already done that. You respect the world champions that's in the boxing community. And if you don't respect the champions that's in the boxing community, then how in in the world can you expect for people to even give you any kind of love in the sport of boxing? You're going to run those people away who were willing to help you. And you brought in a guy in Paulie. Now, I want y'all to think about this for a second. He brought in a guy in Paulie, right? Paulie has not been in the ring since March, February. Now, he hasn't been retired for a long time. But Paulie has been out of the game. He's been away from the game. And he put on weight. And you can tell when he went into a sparring session with McGregor, if you look at the video, you could just see that Paulie is out of shape. He's nowhere in shape. But he still was able to make it to 12 rounds. And I'm not going to say Paulie didn't hold his own because we don't know what happened in the first, what Paulie say, that was the 12th round that they showed. So we don't know what happened in the first 11 rounds. And Paulie say he worked McGregor in those first 11 rounds. And so it feels really funny that Paulie has surfaced more into this whole ordeal with Mayweather McGregor. That's going to even be the talk on fight night. What is Paulie going to say about Conor? What is Paulie going to say about this? What is Paulie going to say about that? That is going to play a major role right now in this whole entire fight. That's what everybody's going to be talking about. And to me, I just feel as though it's just not good if you're Conor McGregor. Right? One thing that Forbes pointed out to me today, and like I said, I'm going to let you guys catch that interview, but one thing that he pointed out to me today was how can Conor treat people the way that he treat them? And his answer was to me was, Conor has that attitude as if, hey, fuck you, I'm getting paid. And that's the end of that, right? And so when you have that type of mentality and the people in your camp are just yes men to you, how does that make everybody else in the boxing world feel? That's why it was so easy for Berto to say, no, I'm not going in. It was so easy for Forbes to say, no, I'm not going in. For everything it is that you put in the sport of boxing for the 30 years, 20 years that some guys have put in, to have it all destroyed just for McGregor to reach that fame, what is it that they're going to gain from that? And that's what I was feeling when I was talking to Steve Forbes today. I was like, what is it that you're going to gain if you was to spar McGregor? With the attitude that McGregor have, what is it that you're going to gain from him? What is it that you're going to gain from the fan base of the boxing world? Because honestly, I don't believe a lot of boxing fans and pundits and people who really are hardcore fans of the game is taking this fight as serious as it's supposed to. And I just feel as though Conor doesn't stand a chance with Mayweather. It's going to be easy work for Floyd. We all know that. But what I think it is going to really set up a big fight with McGregor and Malignaggi next. That's just what's going to happen. All this other talk of what's taking place and what's going on right now with Floyd being dropped by Zab Judah, that is absolutely false. You can erase that, get that out your minds if you're thinking that that is going to happen, or if that happened. It didn't happen at all. And I stand by my sources and the people who I've been in contact with, who are there in Nevada, who's very close to Floyd's gym. I actually have a fighter that's there right now who I covered before, and they never gave me anything in correlation to Floyd being dropped by Zab Judah in sparring. It's just absolutely ridiculous that these stories are being put out there right before this fight. But it's very interesting. Paulie, very interesting. This whole ordeal with McGregor is very interesting. But I'm really looking forward to seeing, and those of you who may not have seen any of the All Access videos of Mayweather McGregor, please go back and check on Showtime and check out the All Access. The last episode airs this Friday at 10 o'clock. Tune in and see what this last episode may hold. We know in the first episode that it was the press tour, and it was more so of All Access introducing itself to those who didn't know who Floyd Mayweather were, and those who did not know who Conor McGregor was. So that's what All Access was in episode 1, the press tour. Episode 2 and 3 was kind of lingering towards what took place in sparring sessions with Conor McGregor and Paulie Malignaggi. That's all we got in 2 and 3. Of course, you got a little close with Floyd, and Floyd, you know, riding horses, and not only that, that moment that he shared with that kid, the special child, who is a great person, and I believe they might be there on fight night when Floyd take on McGregor. So it'll be very good for those of you who did not get to watch that All Access to be able to see that young man who really wanted to meet Floyd for the first time. And not only that, in episode 4, we don't know what we're going to get, right? Episode 4, or is it going to be more so of what took place on Media Day? Because when you look at everything that took place on Media Day with McGregor, it's been more jokes than it is of him doing anything serious. And if you notice, they kept him away from the speed bag. They kept him away from the mitts. They kept him away from the speed bag. And he just did pretty much 12 rounds of hitting the heavy bag. That's it. And he was doing that crazy little whatever that is, right? And not only that, he was doing the whole little challenge that Terrence Crawford has all the fighters doing right now. David Haye, Terrence Crawford, Jared Swift Hurt, just a few that I've seen do the McGregor challenge. But it's just funny things like that is taking place. It's very good for boxing. You can see casual fans now being entertained. But one thing that I don't like is the false news that's being presented and put out there in reference to Floyd being dropped by Conor McGregor. That is just absolutely false. That is just something that I just really can't get jiggy with, right? And when you talk about this guy right here in Zab Judah, who has been in good sparring with Mayweather, but dropping Floyd, I just don't see that happening. Not right now, because Floyd is just too. Floyd is, for one, he's active. Like, he is in the gym. He is in great shape. He's been working hard. How can you say that about Zab? How? What is the reason for Zab to be in the gym grinding this hard enough to where he could drop Floyd? Like, ask yourself that question. Ask yourself that question. What is it that he's doing to put himself in position to drop Floyd? To be that active, right? In shape. Perfect. Catching the champ right on the chin, dropping him. You really believe that? And those of you who do believe that, you're just as gullible as any Conor McGregor fan who thinks that he's going to drop Floyd. That's just being real, man. Just sometimes people just have to open their mind and just think about what it is they're talking about and what they're saying. How can a novice in the sport of boxing come into the boxing world and just destroy or walk through Floyd Money Mayweather? They want to say it's the age. They want to say it's this. They want to say it's that. Come on. Floyd has really channeled Pretty Boy Floyd right now because of the hating, criticism, everything that is coming from everybody saying that this guy is going to beat him. They channeled the Pretty Boy Floyd. And they got Floyd doing a lot of things different than what Money May is accustomed to doing. And that's just being real. I mean, I'm just looking at footage. I'm looking at Floyd. And I'm like, man, Floyd has really transitioned back into Pretty Boy Floyd. I mean, he's almost back there. And come fight night, it's going to be really interesting, if you ask me. But I mean, we got boxing this weekend. We got Terrence Bud Crawford taking on Julius Ndongo in what's set up to be probably one of the biggest fights in boxing history. With these two guys going at it, it's going to be a phenomenal evening. You got Terrence Crawford, man, who is just phenomenal and been on a killing spree as far as destroying fighters, taking on a guy in Julius Ndongo, who we did film study on and we did our research on. You could check out those shows. Follow Jeremy Sports Network, like us on Facebook, and you'll be able to find those shows to where we did our film study on Julius Ndongo. And we was able to see what Ndongo does well and what it is that he may try to do to Terrence Crawford. And we did film study on Terrence Crawford and what it is that he could do against a guy who is taller, with the longer reach, and who has great ability with his footwork. And what we did was we took the fight from from Terrence Crawford and Victor Posto. And we watched that fight because Victor Posto was, for one, had the longer reach. He was taller than Terrence Crawford. And we was able to see what Crawford did to get himself inside and land those shots on Victor Posto like he did. And that was him switching southpaw. And when he switched southpaw, it caused nothing but hell for Victor Posto. So we was able to see that. But then when we watched Julius Ndongo, when he took on Ricky Burns, we really didn't see too much from Julius Ndongo besides the fact that he was very aggressive. And he tries to go to the body with the jab. But we didn't see him fight off his back foot. We didn't see him put himself in position to where shots could get in on him until it was about the 10th, 11th, and 12th round. And Ricky Burns was able to get some shots off on him. But it looks to be an interesting fight come Saturday night, live on ESPN. Make sure you please tune in and watch this fight and be back on Jeremy Sports Network immediately after the fight for immediate reaction show to what happened and what took place. It's going to be a phenomenal evening. Shakur Stevens will be fighting on that card. So look for Shakur to be dominating. I'm wondering if they're going to have Shakur fighting live on ESPN, but I do know of a app and television station that will be showing the preliminary bouts, and I will share that live on Jeremy Sports Network so you can be able to see the undercard of Crawford and Ndongo. And I'm not sure if ESPN is going to show that. I don't know because I haven't seen a schedule release as far as the fights are concerned. We'll probably get that. I don't know. I'm going to check my emails again tomorrow. If I get it tomorrow, I will post it. But it just looks to be very interesting right now. We're in the middle of boxing. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next between this Mayweather-McGregor. Because something else big is going to surface and it's going to happen come fight week. It's going to happen. If it's not by the end of this week, it's going to happen towards the beginning of next week. Something big is going to come out. Maybe Conor does release the tapes to where Paulie really have to answer himself come fight night when he's commentating live for Showtime. Because questions are going to be asked of Paulie. How do you break down Conor McGregor? As if he hasn't been doing it already, but he said he's going to keep some of the tactical things. He's going to hold some of the tactical things until fight night. So it looks very interesting to see what is going to happen. Now, if you're tuning in, make sure you please like and share the show. It helps with the visibility of the show. You can follow us on YouTube at Jeremy Sports Network. In case you missed the show, it will be running back live on YouTube. And you can follow us on SoundCloud, iTunes, catch the podcast on iTunes. And, I mean, we're working. If you want to be part of the game, the notification game, hey, make sure you hit that subscribe, hit that notification button. And thanks to all the patrons that's out there, because without you and the supporters of the show, this show will not be happening. But I'm just bringing you nothing but the sports news and boxing, all the top news. And be looking out for tomorrow's show. We will have Steve Forbes' interview showing live on the show on tomorrow. So you'll be able to get his breakdown and reasoning why he turned down the Conor McGregor sparring session. And also, look for me to be in the gym with Hakeem Tito Lopez and K-Champ come this Thursday and this Friday. Two really young warriors coming up in the boxing world. So I'm looking forward to being able to spend time with those guys and get some great interviews and bring you guys some awesome footage. So this is Jeremy Sports Network. I'm signing out. You guys have a wonderful night. And hold it down. This is Jeremy Sports Network. I'm out. Peace.